guys, so we're going to cut right to the chase. Today we're going to be reviewing the Brooks saddle. This is the first Brooks saddle that I owned, and it is a B17 carved. And I rode this saddle for about a year, and it was great. I loved it, but the rails broke on it. Let me give you an example of another saddle that hasn't been ridden. This is an old B17 saddle. This is actually not a B17, it's a B15. The only difference is it's a little bit shorter, but this is an example of an old Brooks saddle that really hasn't been ridden, because this bike is like mint condition. So this saddle may have 50 miles on it. It was built back in the 70s, and as you can see, the logos are really similar. But look at the difference in the shape of the saddle. Now, when they come from the factory, brand new, they all look like this. But after you ride, what happens is they mold to your butt, to your seat bones, and they really turn into just a fantastic and soft saddle. Something that's very comfortable for long rides. Let's look at another one over here. This is my newest Brooks saddle. This replaced the old one that broke. This is just a very simple B17. It's not carved, and it's starting to get broke in, and this thing already feels amazing. So let's talk about the advantages to a Brooks saddle. This saddle is on my son's bike, and it's just a wilderness trail bike saddle, and it's the Volt, but it's, you know, synthetic material. There's foam, rubber under here, plastic undercarriage, steel rails. It's a comfortable saddle, but the problem is this saddle will not really change. It will not conform to your body. The only thing that will give you more comfort over time is just sitting on this and spending more time on this saddle, so that your butt actually gets kind of used to the feel of this saddle. The advantage to the Brooks saddle is that it molds to your body over time. So there's two things that are going to increase the comfort. Number one, you're going to get used to the leather saddle. Your butt's going to get, you know, used to the shape, but at the same time, the saddle is also conforming to your butt. And so two things are happening, and over the period of 400 or 500 miles, some rides in the rain, this and that, you're going to have a perfect match from your butt to your saddle. And I'm telling you guys, these things are so stinking comfortable. One major disadvantage to the Brooks saddles is they are a little bit heavy. I don't have the exact weights, but they might weigh that again what a synthetic saddle would weigh. So that's something to consider. Another disadvantage is they're not recommended to be used in the rain. But after riding this saddle for over a year, I learned that you can disregard that information. When they get rained on, the leather does soften, but it's not a problem. It just contours to your body a little better. And then once the leather dries out, it gets stiff and hard again. It's really not an issue. Let's talk a little bit about why this saddle broke. And if you see here, these are, I believe, chromoly rails, and it snapped right at this point. And honestly, guys, this saddle probably had 2,500, 3,000 miles on it. Pretty hard miles, but I don't think that it was a manufacturing defect. I don't think that these rails were defective. Let me show you what I think the problem was. This is the seat post that I was using with that saddle. And if you'll notice, the clamp here is very narrow. This is only about an inch wide. And so you can imagine that after 3,000 miles of this seat rocking back and forth and just everything that it went through, that it would be very possible for a lot of stress to be happening right here. And I believe that's what happened, and it cracked. So I switched to a Thompson's seat post. This is my new Thompson seat post. Pardon all of the dirt. We rode in the rain yesterday, but as you can see, the clamp there is quite a bit. You might not be able to tell, but it's quite a bit wider, almost by a ½ inch. So I feel that this seat post is probably going to help take some of the stress off of these rails. Time will tell, but it certainly seems to be stiffer and less creaking, and I think that's a good thing. So my overall takeaway from riding Brooks saddles for going on a 1.5 years now is that they are the best saddles that you can buy. Are they for everybody? No. If you're doing races or if you're doing rides that are 1 to 5 hours in length and you're going for lightweight, you want your bike to be as light as possible, so you're going to be as fast as you can be, you probably don't want to ride a Brooks. But if you're bike packing or if you're touring and you're going to be on that bike for 1, 2, 3 days on end, and even sometimes riding 24 hours, 48 hours nonstop, then I would suggest that you break in a Brooks saddle, and you'll probably never go back. They're a little bit heavier, but for the comfort that they provide, for being in the saddle that long, man, you just can't beat it. And I don't have anything bad to say about the saddles. I know the one broke. I think that was partly my fault for using that China-made seat post that had a small clamp. But yes, I give them a 10 out of 10. And if you're on the edge or you're trying to figure out if you want to buy the carved version versus the regular version, to be honest with you, I can't tell much difference. I think the carved actually pinched me a few times, especially when it was breaking in. So right now, I'm enjoying just this regular design, just the normal design that's been around for like 100 years. So that's my review on the Brooks saddles. Hey, you're welcome to leave a comment. Tell me if you have one or if you're thinking about getting one. And if you have any more questions, I can hopefully answer those for you. Thanks for watching.